Hello, everyone. My name is Julian Alvarez, Commissioner representing labor for the Texas Workforce Commission. Today, I'm joined by Johnny Hernandez, who is a chef here, a world-renowned chef, I should say, with restaurants all over the country. And we have the honor of being at one of Johnny's kitchen. This is the kitchen campus here in San Antonio. We're also being joined by some members of the community. We have some of the councilwomen that are here. We have the economic development gentleman that represents this great city. And of course, we have some fine people that have shown their interest in making sure that everyone here in this city succeeds. And so that's why we're here today. So we're hoping that this presentation that we have today is going to be able to not only help you maybe look into a career, not a job, but a career. And I think, Johnny, you've said that multiple times, a career and not a job in the food service industry. And you can see that it's very lucrative. And today we're going to have a little fun. But while I ask him some questions, Mr. Hernandez has asked me to go ahead and prepare something with him. So I'm so glad that we're here. Mr. Hernandez, if you just want to say hi to our great folks.
Hi, everyone, and welcome, Commissioner.
I am so excited. And so we're in this beautiful building in San Antonio. And not only do we have the kitchen campus here, but there are other services that are in this building. I think that Chef Johnny Hernandez will go over those. But, you know, TWC plays an important role in the services that we provide in this building. They have adult education and literacy. We saw some programs in here where they were teaching and working with young mothers about pregnancy. We were talking about programs that help men that may be single, or these gentlemen that may be, that circumstances beyond their control. We're here to provide a service. We're also very fortunate that the local workforce board here in San Antonio has been very close and has been working closely with you. So thank you for that. So thank you for allowing us to be here.
No, it's just exciting to have you here. And, you know, as an industry, you know, this has been a year that's challenged us all, but we're very united as an industry. And, you know, the support of the city, the county, and the state has been something that we have felt. Mm-hmm. We have felt, and, you know, for us in the industry that love it, we're in this industry because we're passionate about it, and it is a part of us who we just can't deny. We muscle through everything, and you know, the view that we see moving forward is amazing opportunity for our industry, for the young people that we work with here at Kitchen Campus. You know, we work with youth throughout San Antonio and even all the way down into South Texas. You know, we are very committed to the nurturing of culinary talent. Good. And that is something that we're very focused here at Kitchen Campus. And like you mentioned, Neighborhood Place is such a tremendous resource for the neighborhood. You know, I believe that if you're going to make an impact on a student or on someone that really needs a hand, you have to be in the neighborhood to make that impact. And I'm excited to be part of the bigger community here that the Neighborhood Place is focused on here in District 5.
But it takes a lot of people to make programs like this successful. Mm-hmm. As we referenced earlier, we have folks that represent the city that are here, the economic development. I mean, it takes a team of folks to make sure that programs like this succeed. One of the things that I find very interesting about the success of San Antonio is that you have so many partners that have been engaged in the success of these young individuals. So these young girls that we had a chance to visit with this morning, Johnny, it was interesting because they have no idea that people like you and me and the folks like in economic development or their council people or the school districts are so involved behind the scenes on their success. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. So let's go ahead and change kind of the format here. And I know you're going to be preparing some stuff for us, and I'll let you explain that. But tell me why you got into this industry. I see that you have a picture of your dad, who looks like my dad. You know, I mean, we all had the same hairstyle and the same thin mustache. But you know, if you could explain to the viewers what made you go into this occupation.
Well, it's my mom and dad both had a family restaurant on the west side of San Antonio, just probably a mile away from here, where our Kitchen Campus is, and we grew up in the business. You know, my dad was a great cook. I don't think he ever called himself a chef because he felt he wasn't trained to be a chef. But he knew service, he knew hospitality, and we accepted customers into the restaurant every day. And that was life every day. But there was certainly one important thing that, you know, my dad really wanted for me, which was to pursue an education. And culinary school was something that he insisted on me making sure that I took that proper step of preparation to he like every great parent, they want you to have a better life than they did. They don't want you to see you struggle the way they did, and that's definitely the wish of my father. And Kitchen Campus is here in honor to my father.
That's awesome.
And we still have my mom who still gets after me every day, but with the business, right? I grew up in the business,
Sure.
and I loved it.
Sure. And so one of the things that I wanted to share is, and I'd be remiss if I didn't acknowledge this, is the fact that early on here in the school districts, not only in San Antonio, but around the state of Texas, let's not forget South Texas as well, that we are providing early on that individuals that are going to our schools have options. And I love that because right now we're talking about those highly skilled occupations. People used to talk about the middle skills, but I'm looking at stuff like this. You can't tell me that this isn't highly skilled, or welding or cybersecurity or any of those programs are not highly skilled. And so we're grateful that schools are trying to inform kids that any occupation, you can be successful in any occupation. But one of the things I want to share with you is that you got to start at the beginning, right? Not everything's going to be like what you see on television, right? And so if you want, we can go ahead and start preparing.
Well, I thought that, that I'd prepare for you a ceviche.
Okay.
So like when we work with our students, it's all about preparation. And, the success in hospitality, success in culinary arts begins with great preparation. And that's what we have here in front of us is our mise en place, they call it. The prep, right? Mise en place is the French term. When my dad wanted me to pursue culinary arts, French cooking was like the pinnacle of cooking, and that was what he thought, what his imagination of success was. So this is our mise en place, or our preparation. So we're going to make a ceviche that we serve at our fruteria, one of our restaurants. We have a fruteria Botanero here in Southtown, and we're going to use some beautiful hamachi. We have tostadas that, are part of the texture. Over here we have a little bit of camote, so sweet potato, or sea salt, some toasted corn. We have our leche de tigre. On this side we have some onions, cilantro, some radishes, some maize, a little bit of heat, and lime. Many people have a lot of people in the Mexican culture maybe know ceviche, right? So I thought that we didn't want to fire up the stove today, so I said, let's make a ceviche, and let's share something with the commissioner that is one of my favorite dishes. So this is fresh hamachi, and hamachi is tuna, right? It's a yellowfin tuna, and we make this with redfish. They can make it with trout. They can make it with flounder. There's a lot of fish that are just local here in the Gulf Coast that will make a wonderful ceviche. So we're gonna show you a quick recipe of one of my favorite ceviche at our Botanero. So in Southtown, which is not far from here, it is our fruteria Botanero, and we serve this there in the evening at our fruteria. So the first step in preparing great ceviche is fresh seafood. Okay. And you can make it with fish, you can make it with shrimp. The preparation of ceviche is one that I'd like to compare to, let's say, Japanese sushi. Okay. Right? Because we're using a very high quality ingredient, a very high quality sashimi grade fish, and we're only going to apply acidity for the preparation. Okay. Okay. So many people, may not be familiar with ceviche. But I think today with the new age of communication and television, I think most people have had ceviche. So the second important ingredient for a ceviche that is fundamental is fresh squeezed lime juice. Okay. Okay, because the acidity is what begins to cook the fish, and it's actually, it does cook the fish, right? But it is more of a marinade, kind of like when. There are other seafood preparations where they use acidity to cook. Okay, so we're going to put a little fresh lime juice over our hamachi. Again, you can use redfish, you can use trout. We were in Mr. Renee's home, close to the coast, and we made it with. We had speckled trout, and then we had red.
Well, I heard from now on you can get all the fish you want from Mr. Capistan. He's going to allow you to do that.
And it was freshly caught, which fishing is one of my favorite activities that I don't get to do too often.
So, Chef, if you don't mind me asking while you're preparing,
Yes.
tell me some of the certifications
Right.
that someone that goes through the kitchen campus may receive while they're here. And then
Right.
what I'll share with you are some of the free services that we provide to somebody that may be interested in going into this line of this occupation.
Right.
So what are some of the certifications that someone may receive here?
Right. Well, what we're working with, the Kitchen Campus exists because the culinary, our city has over 20 high school culinary programs.
Wow, that's great.
And it's amazing to see the work that's being done in all the different school districts around our city. And Kitchen Campus is a resource for those students. The most difficult thing for a young student to maybe try to figure out at an age when they're in their junior or sophomore year, maybe freshman year, is, what is it do I want to do for the rest of my life? So, Kitchen Campus, our mission is financial success through culinary arts.
Okay.
And financial success does not come only by knowing the culinary, the creative. It's also about learning. We like to teach them, okay, this is the cost of these ingredients. This is how you purchase this ingredient. So we like to spend time with our students understanding the fundamentals of owning your business. And
so that's great that you implement those types of programs early on, that not only are you going to start maybe from the very beginning in a service like this, but at some point maybe become an entrepreneur. I think more people need to understand that in occupations that require hands-on type of skills, many of those transpire into someone maybe owning their own company at some point.
Exactly.
So I'm glad you do that. And I would assume that you're doing this for individuals that are older adults as well, that may be thinking of changing, especially during the pandemic, when many folks that were unfortunately laid off or furloughed or lost their jobs as a result of the pandemic, they're now looking at this into a new occupation, right?
Right.
Okay.
Well, I think, when we assembled Kitchen Campus, we quickly realized, because we're here at the neighborhood place, we quickly realized, man, there's so much more that we can do here. And whether it's nutrition, whether it's workforce development, the industry, our industry, the hospitality industry has evolved and grown so much. And it is an industry that, I feel at times we can't stay in pace with all the growth and how technology has affected our industry. So, here, there's, I think that there is a balanced, we try to balance working with students that are in high school, and then those that we're organizing our efforts right now for workforce development. Obviously, the pandemic has challenged our industry in a tremendous way. It's challenged many industries, and it has really certainly has highlighted the vulnerability of our industry and the things that we need to do to improve and to be better prepared if we ever get maybe affected by such a challenging.
So we all learned something during this time. I will tell you that one of the things that we learned at the Texas Workforce Commission was the fact that those individuals that were in the tourism hospitality industry actually were looking at other ways to improve their skills. They took advantage of maybe doing some resume writing, which is another program that we did, and maybe picked up a skill in construction or in the hospitality, maybe something they've always wanted to do. So in a minute, I'm going to go ahead and share with you some of the programs that the Texas Workforce Commission has to offer for those individuals that may be looking at going into a program like yours. We're servicing thousands. And as you know, Chef Hernandez, we have 850,000 job openings right now, careers in our work in Texas. Wow. So there are a lot of occupations out there to serve everyone, not just here in San Antonio, but throughout the state of Texas.
Right. So right now, before I get too far, so the marination of the fish, right? And then we can go back, but I know there's so much that we want to cover. We marinated our fish, and as the acidity began to do its work, you can kind of see the color of the fish is beginning to change, right? So it's becoming a deeper tone of white, and that acidity is beginning to do its work, right? To firm up the protein. I added a little bit of sal de grano, or a little bit of sea salt. I added a little bit of camote, so sweet potato. It adds a little bit of a sweetness, begins to cut some of the acidity. So for the first 4 or 5 minutes, I let the lime and the salt really do its curing, and then I started adding a little bit of heat. I added a little bit of flavor with a little bit of onion. I added the salt, and I added a little bit of camote. So now all of the flavors, we're beginning to layer some of the flavors in the ceviche. But again, you were saying, one thing that I really appreciated, really just reflecting on the past year, is how Texas, the commission, the restaurant association, the Texas Restaurant Association, the San Antonio Restaurant Association, I felt that there was a lot of communication happening, and there were a lot of eyes on our industry and trying to help.
Thank you.
And so the collaborative effort of what your office has done, and the leaders in our industry have been really trying to keep us in pace as much as possible, and informed, because we were all seeking information at that time, right? So, and I know there's a lot of certifications that the commission has made available online now. So
that's a great idea. So it's obvious that Chef Johnny doesn't want me to touch his food products because he's heard that I'm a terrible cook. And I'll give you a quick example. Yesterday in my office, I asked my administrative assistant that I wanted to go ahead and cook a croissant. And so she said, go ahead and put it in the toaster for 2 minutes. Well, I thought a toaster and a microwave were the same thing. So I put the croissant in a microwave for 2 minutes and it caught fire. And so unfortunately, unfortunately, we caused a little fire, but we didn't burn down the building. But obviously got back to Chef Johnny. But let me share with our audience some of the programs that we have that might be of some value to those that are viewing today's video. So right now for free through our portal, Texans can get their Serve Safe Food Handler and Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission seller or server certifications to get back to work, or, as we said earlier, start a new career. Wherever your experience or interest is the most, or if you want, I should say, maybe you're interested in being a host, a server, food preparation, in that area, bartender, bar back, or a busser. All restaurant employees in Texas are required, watch this, all Texas employees that are in that industry are required to have a valid food handler certification. Is that correct?
Correct.
So what we're doing at the Texas Workforce Commission is providing those certifications at no expense to folks like Chef Johnny or others around the state that are listening to this video, at no expense to them and to the participant. So we've been very fortunate. I don't know, let me read on. Front house employees in establishments that serve beer, wine, and mixed beverages can also obtain their Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission, TABC, approved a valid server certification as well. So you can see that the agency has put forth an opportunity for those that are interested in going into these types of careers, no expense to them. So we're very grateful that the commission has been able to do that.
Yeah, I think just recently, we took, there was an opportunity, one of our partners here in San Antonio, the Spurs invited us to provide food services at Toyota Field. And my service staff, was able to log online and get their TABC certification.
Awesome.
And I mean, it's obviously it's a critically important certification because of safety and alcohol safety, and people, especially after the pandemic, they've really enjoyed their margaritas.
Yeah, and we think, hey, look, I just want people to know that when you're in an occupation like this is serious stuff. And we don't just have anybody off the streets that are actually, serving you, preparing your food and all that. I mean, these are folks that have a certification and making sure that everything's safe, and especially during the time of the pandemic. So we're very fortunate.
No, exactly.
I'll go ahead and let you finish here.
So our ceviche is inspired by the Peruvian. This one is a kind of a Peruvian style, and Peru is if you're not familiar with ceviches, I mean, we make ceviches from all over the coast of Mexico, whether it's the Gulf Coast or the Pacific Coast. But ceviches are something that have a stylistically, depending on what coast you're on, there's a little bit of a personal, let's call it a flavor or presentation.
Oh my God, it's beautiful.
So what you're seeing today is a Peruvian style of ceviche, which is, like I said, one of my favorite. So it has a little bit of maíz, it has a little bit of, toasted maíz, which is not always typical in a ceviche, especially not if you're down in Mexico. In Mexico, or in our restaurants, typically we serve a ceviche with tostadas, and that provides kind of the textural crunch and the foundation to a wonderful ceviche. So this particular ceviche will, we can assemble a quick tostada with a little bit of guacamole, with a little sliced avocado. But this is our ceviche from our fruteria. We put a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, and there you have it.
Oh my God, that's
beautiful.
beautiful.
It's just, our industry has evolved so much, and I think that in terms of the fusion of the cuisine, presentation has become such an important part of our industry, and this is just an example of how you may have enjoyed a ceviche in a maybe a less modern presentation, but this is kind of where we really push the young people, is to think creatively, to present things creatively, to think carefully of the sourcing of your ingredients, the quality of your mariscos, the quality of your fish. And all those steps through the preparation to what we see here as the final product, which is our ceviche, peruano.
Man, think about the pride that the young individuals or anybody that's actually preparing this takes. It's so pretty. I don't even know if we could even eat this because it's so nice. But the fact that they have something like this, and so there are a lot of, I would say, and I want our viewers to know, especially those that are interested in something like this.
Right.
It's not just something you can jump into. This is something that takes time to be able to prepare something as we would consider something as simple as this, but knowing what kind of fish to use and if it's ripe and what type of vegetables are available to you and what's healthy. I could assume that this is a very healthy dish, and so congratulations.
Very healthy and muy saludable. And we love to teach our young people and those that are that we're upskilling through our industry, right? We have employees. In our industry, I think that I feel like our industry has always been kind of that apprenticeship model, right? We take in a young person, young men and women who have no education at times other than high school. Yes. And our industry is one that will accept someone with with limited education, and they can build a successful career.
I like that.
And so we've always been kind of like part of that on the job training type of industry. And right now I feel like there's so much growth and so many different avenues now that someone can grow into, right? And when you think of our industry, before you were either a chef or you were the restaurant manager. Kind of that was kind of the career goal. Today is you may be the marketing side, the communication side. There are the food sciences that are big in our industry. There's also the beer making, the brewery, the beverage industry has turned into its own industry. The R&D, the research and development side of food, the manufacturing side of food. I can think as a young man or a little boy working with my father in his kitchen, and there was you would look down, which is Enrique Barrera Parkway. You would look left and right in the neighborhood on the main road, and there was 2 restaurants. Now you look in both directions, and there's restaurants everywhere. There's food trucks everywhere. There's bakeries. There's people are our industry has grown so much because people enjoy, whether it's eating out, whether it's going to the fresh bakery, or even if you're on the west side here close by, you go to the Molino or Tortilleria.
Yes. Well, Chef Johnny, I want to tell you that I am so grateful for you allowing us to be here. You can see the kitchen campus. It's such a beautiful campus. We prepared something to you today. So one of the things that I want to share, and I know we do have an audience that's here, but if you think of everything here, all the ingredients, let's assume that the limes are the city council. And of course, I'm the salt. And then you got the economic development folks that are this really good recipe here. And then the tuna are the business owners. If you think about it, this recipe, all different, is really nothing. But when you put all the recipes together, all these little types of ingredients together, you come up with a lovely dish like this. And at the end of the day, that's what we want our students to look like. Something that's going to be successful, yummy, that everybody's going to want. So that's what we want to convey to all of our viewers today, is a couple of things. We do have, you can get started in some of the certifications that I referenced earlier. Again, no expense to the employers, no expense to the participants. And it's the certification.txrestaurant.org. And then, of course, we also have the twc.texas.gov /restaurants. twc.texas.gov/restaurants. And that's a video. And I think we've done it both in English and Spanish. Chef Johnny, I am honored to have been here today. I know that you've been working closely with a lot of the folks here today. And I want to thank our audience for being here. Again, this wouldn't be possible if it wasn't for having great people like what we've seen here today in San Antonio, making sure that every young adult, every young child has an opportunity to succeed. And success is not always measured in monetary or what you have in the bank. It's measured in how you present yourself. And so I want people to remember that. Again, thank you for referencing apprenticeship, high demand occupations, careers, all of the buzzwords that I love. I want to thank you and your staff for allowing us to be at this lovely place. So as customary, Johnny, I'm going to ask that we toast, as you know, the coffee with the commissioner. So thank you very much. And we look forward to our next presentation.